Welcome into Real Kyper and Bourne. I am not Nick Kyprios. I am Justin Bourne. And I am joined today by Sam McKee, who's joining me as co-host with no Kyper today, Sammy.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, sitting in a different seat. Don't like it.
No.
It's amazing how the difference between, 10 feet.
Yeah.
Might as well be on a different planet.
Feels totally different.
Yes.
We got our technical directors, Frank Braska and Derek Brandeo. We are live on Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet 590, The Fan in Toronto, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. If you miss our show live, you can always get it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Here's where Kip says some weird things about begging for thumbs up.
Yeah, begging for thumbs up. Thumbs up on the YouTube. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Yeah, and just checking the quick YouTube chat to see how people are reacting to Kyper not being here, me sitting there. Kyper got fired. Is Kyper stuck on the DVP? Wow, the B team. Sammy looks tired over there. Oh, no, tiny. I look tiny.
Sam is 6'6".
Yeah.
There's a lot of man over there.
It's funny. That's when I go out in, public and people see me and they say hello to me or whatever. Like the number one thing people say to me is, wow, you're a lot taller than I thought.
Yeah.
Best thing to hear.
Yeah.
There's nothing that makes me happier than when they're like, oh, you're a lot taller than I thought. I'm like, yeah,
I get that too. I think when people see Kyper and I in person and I'm a couple inches taller than Kyper, people are like, oh, we just assumed that was not the case.
A lot of speculation in the chat as well. Kyper potentially GM interview, which interesting timing for sure.
Now that you bring it up, no, not out of the question.
I think he's doing the Baycrest today. We used to do it a little bit here too. And I saw his name on a draft board in Terry Ryan's Instagram story. So not getting interviewed.
Is it Hockey Helps the Homeless? Is that the event or?
It's one of those things.
One of those.
Baycrest. It's I think for Alzheimer's.
Okay.
Baycrest Alzheimer's. I think that's what it was. Anyway, it's one of those sort of draft the celebrity things. And Kyper's the celebrity.
So no Nick Kyprios today. You got McKee and I for Off the Rails Fridays, which immediately kind of thrusts it off the rails as is. This has been a week where we've been opening up the shows and just being like, any thoughts on developing Leaf stuff? And there really hasn't been much of anything.
No.
It's been like whittling it down from a candidate list of 5 or 6 to 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we're stuck in the same 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And just kind of waiting.
So I think there was an interesting development today. 32 Thoughts, right? That Friedman said that they asked Lightning's GM, Julien BriseBois, asked for permission. No. Not allowed. The answer was no. But I found that interesting that they're willing to ask BriseBois, who I think by all accounts will be looked upon as one of the best general managers in the league, despite the recent lack of success in the playoffs. I think everybody kind of looks at them as one of the better franchises, one of the best run. But why they would be willing to talk to him, Bourne, since he's under contract, but not Doug Armstrong.
Yeah.
What is it with Doug Armstrong?
Yeah.
That is the question that I came out of this, looking at this sheet, seeing that Maple Leafs denied permission to interview Lightning BriseBois. Why didn't they ask another guy who was under contract, but like seemingly less under contract? There must have just been something about Armstrong that they don't love.
Can I tell you my most cynical take on this?
Yes.
Which is that
please do.
They knew they weren't getting BriseBois, but they had to have it out there that they asked.
Huh.
It's like there was never any chance that BriseBois was going to be like, would I like to go to a division rival who's worse than my current team and in a worse spot?
Yeah, with way less prospects and probably way less picks. No, you're right.
Twice the scrutiny? Absolutely not. You changed my title. I don't want to do that. So I think there's a lot of people going into this saying, you have to at least ask these guys, ask the big names, whatever. And now they get to go, we asked. I think the risk if you asked Doug Armstrong is he might have said yes.
And they just didn't want to do that.
I just think that there is a dollar amount that would cost. And I think you'd have to give them a whole heap of responsibility that maybe they aren't willing to give up.
Yeah, okay.
Or I don't know. Maybe I kicked one of their dogs once upon a time. I don't know.
Just my whole adult life watching the Toronto Maple Leafs and following this and being in the middle of it, the next guy would just be Doug Armstrong.
Yeah.
It's just Doug Armstrong.
Yeah.
He's the guy. It's been rumored already, for 4 years. They've been like, oh, maybe Doug Armstrong when the Leafs job comes available.
Yeah.
And finally, when he's kind of passing on the responsibility to Alex Steen, and seemingly taking more of a step upstairs, that it's just the natural move for a big hockeyman that's got a huge name, just moves into it and they didn't even ask. It's just weird to me.
So what is the talk? You got your shared group chats, your hockey team, whatever. Yes. You know, when I run into people in my world, the most common thing is just like, right now it's kind of Ty Domi stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, what's the deal? Like, isn't his son on the team?
The interview we did yesterday with Steve Peters, which spectacular stuff and still holds up today and will forever until they hire Chayka, just in terms of information about him. I think what I took away from that and listening to him talk, and, you know, I read that story in The Athletic and it was there too, but how maybe involved Ty Domi is in this situation, I think was more of a development of it. And I think there's just a lot of people being like, why is that the case? And I think, like, listen, Ty Domi, again, part of one of my favorite era of Toronto Maple Leafs. Love Ty Domi. If you go down to the arena, probably outside of like a lot of the big stars, the number one jersey you're going to see is Ty Domi. Like, he's got a huge presence in the city. Kipper's buddies with him. I understand all that. But I don't know how he was thrust in this position. Win, lose, or tie, I guess, what Jens was texting us about yesterday. But I think that's a big one. And I just think, like we've talked about all week, the skepticism with Chayka, man. It's going to be, he's starting behind an 8-ball for me. And I don't know how he's going to get past it early.
Yeah. The Ty Domi stuff, it does feel like, I almost, like, let's say it was like, hey, it's going to be Ty for president or something like that.
Yeah.
I think I'd be like, well, that's a guy who's been here every day. He feels like he's in the crowd every time there's a game, and he's aware of the happenings of the team. Like, it would probably be easier for Ty to step in and do the job that Mats is supposedly going to be doing.
Agree.
So he definitely is in touch with what's happening here.
Yeah. But I don't love all the connections.
Yeah.
And the seemingly, like, I think one of the big issues with Chayka in Arizona, and what a lot of people around the league had issues with, and what he sort of alluded to yesterday, Steve Phillips. Steve Phillips is a baseball analyst. Steve Peters, what he had an issue with, and what people around the team had an issue with, was that he just was kind of foisted this position, given this position. And right now, with all the sort of connections that are around it, and, like, you know, there's little rumors of the connection with Matthews potentially, and all this different stuff, like, it just kind of feels like it's sort of happening again, but on a way bigger and way more important scale. So I don't know.
You talk about Don Maloney, like, not really having a say about having him as an AGM. It's just like, this is your AGM. And with Mats, that's kind of what's happening here again.
Yes.
It's like, this is a guy, like, do they like each other? Do they know each other?
I couldn't, just talking about all these connections, I would assume, like, I'm going to do point A, point B, connect dots, Mats and Ty.
Right.
Very tight.
Yeah.
So potentially the arm bone's connected to the elbow bone, or whatever the hell you want to say. They've probably hung out together because they're a friend with Chayka. So maybe they've been hung out together. Maybe they've gone for steaks together. Maybe they've had a few drinks together. I don't know what they've done. But I would imagine they've been in a room together at some point.
Yeah. The other thing that, like, I had come across my desk was someone was like, like, Chayka's like stayed in Matthews' house in Arizona in the past. Like, they have like some sort of tie through the Arizona thing. And so when you go into these meetings, and one thing we know that the candidates were told was that keeping Matthews and Nylander are a priority.
So one side of it is one of the most famous Swedish hockey players of all time, who is a huge advocate of William Nylander, and was a big part of that trip when they went over to Sweden and interviewed him on stage and all this different stuff, knows him well. And the other side of it is a guy that's potentially friends with Matthews. It's like, well, you could see maybe what the direction is here. I think one of the biggest things, and we'll get into it in our Leafs line here, one of the biggest questions about this offseason is the potential of a William Nylander trade. Yeah. Like, if you talk amongst Leaf fans, that's one that pops up a lot. And by the way, his 30th birthday today.
Is it really?
It is.
That's depressing. Happy birthday.
Celebrate his
so depressing.
Celebrate his 30th birthday by talking about shipping him out of town. Happy birthday, Willie. I know you're listening.
Oh boy. When I was with the Marlies, he was a child.
Yeah, it goes
teenager.
Fast. It goes fast. I saw his NHL debut. It goes fast. Is Matt Sundin going to come in here on, I guess, the middle of May, in 2 weeks or whenever they make this announcement? Is he going to come in here and be like, yeah, we're trading William Nylander?
Of course not. Of course not.
But that's the problem.
Well,
it's like, why are you hiring people with, like, strong connections to guys that are sort of on the block? That part of it scares me.
Well, they don't want him to be on the block. That is something they've made abundantly clear. But if you have been a close watcher of this franchise,
to the block. Like, that's not, I'm not even asking you have to trade them, but be open to the potential of somebody coming to your door and being like,
they're not.
They're not.
They're not. And I will say, one of the problems, if you have been a follower of this franchise,
yes,
is that
I have been.
The inmates running the asylum line,
yes.
like, that has been the concern, that it's like those guys. Remember, like, was it 2 or 3 years ago where they lost a heartbreaker and Shanny sat down in the press conference and went, just double down.
Yeah.
They're all safe.
Yep.
And it was like, God, can you make them nervous for an hour?
Yeah, there never was that.
And so now you're going to hire a new president and GM who are both like, safe, 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 safe. Whatever you do, safe. Tough for a new coach, which apparently it may not be, to pin Willie to the bench when Willie knows, I'm safer than you, pal.
I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a few Leaf lines. Right. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Gordon in PEI has a sort of, I cut these pretty recently, so he's got a Chayka comment, I'm pretty sure. Let's go to Gordon in PEI.
I wanted to follow up on your interview yesterday with Steve Peters, which was great. Everybody's saying John Chayka is smart, which I'm not in a position to contest, but nobody's really referencing any qualifications to run a hockey team, let alone the Leafs. Seems to have backed into the Arizona gig without, just from a relationship with Domi and the ownership. His draft history, drafted Strome over Suzuki, Norris, Barrett Hayton over Quinn Hughes, Evan Bouchard, Soderson over Caulfield. No real trade wins. He's painted as an analytics guy who hasn't worked in hockey analytics in years. Leafs already have more qualified talent in-house with Metcalf. He's shown some bad judgment in his draft debacle and interviewing for another GM gig. For the life of me, I can't understand why he's being considered.
So this is
Great
what I'm...
call. Thank you.
Thanks, Gordon, from beautiful PEI. This is what I'm getting at. This is just Gordo from PEI.
Yeah.
And he's coming in here being like,
what are we doing?
Bing, 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 bing. All these things, all these issues. Really well spoken, by the way. Gordon's got to maybe get its own Leafs hour.
Yeah.
But, like, this is kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
The interesting thing is, like, okay, they want to make more data-centric decisions, right? That was kind of the theme from Pelly's presser on to John Chayka potentially being hired. It's not, to me, the problem isn't having data. They have data now.
No.
Everyone knows that. The idea is, can you pull meaningful insights from the data that other people can't? Mm-hmm. Can you go through this stuff and find stuff? And we don't have a track record to say that, yes, he can. He and his sister Megan built a profitable, successful, very good stats compilation website. Mm-hmm. And then it's up to people to pull their own data. That's why multiple NHL teams pay them for the data, and then they use their own people to pull the insights. Yeah. We don't know that he can pull the insights.
Yeah.
So that's all. It's just you hope he can. I don't know.
So, yeah, Gordon, well done. So this one, I think more is about, so this is from Sunny in the Bay Area. So let's go to Sunny in the Bay Area. I think it's about another.
Hold on.
It's the Bay Area. That's what I said.
Okay.
I said I'm Sunny from the Bay Area. It's not Sunny made up from New Jersey. And it was kind of, I had a hard time making out his name, so maybe it's not Sunny, but I think it's Sunny from the Bay Area, and it's more about another possible GM candidate, I'm pretty sure. Sunny in the Bay Area, please.
Question for you guys is, now that the Stars are out, how does that change things for Scott White? Does that potentially kind of move things around? I know there was a desire to kind of keep leaks from happening. Do you think it was perhaps like a head fake for them to kind of drag us along with Chayka, only to then potentially hire White as a true candidate? What are your thoughts?
See that? I don't know. Some guy tweeted this. I don't know. Some random person that was like, maybe they're trying
Twitter
to
run,
guy. They're running misdirection with Chayka with all these leaks and all this stuff, and they're trying to figure it out, and then they're going to go when the Stars go out and they're going to hire, I was going to say Scott White, but that's right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hate to admit that I'm like, let's go with White. Like, I don't know anything about this guy. I know nothing about him.
Less baggage.
But he's just been around Jim Nill. They're a good organization. They've worked, I've read some of the stuff from Steve Simmons. I don't think Kipper's been particularly, loving of him. But it just feels that at least if it's him, you're starting from zero. You're not starting from below the earth.
Yeah.
Right?
It just, it would be insane to believe that they have grabbed John Chayka like a battering ram.
There's no
just
way.
put their head down. They're just driving him through all the.
There's no way. I don't believe it.
No, like they are by all accounts in contract negotiation or figuring out the details. But the fact that we haven't heard that he's out, to me, implies that he's not out. We've heard that Goldberg is out. We've heard that Ryan Martin's out.
Yeah.
We haven't heard that White is out. So part of this is, okay, if something goes wrong with these contracts, maybe he's the next guy. Maybe it's, can these three find a way to work this out? I don't think he's out. Would it make you feel better if he was also involved?
Maybe. Yeah. I just feel like every day I'm just so negative about this Chayka thing. But I'm having such a hard time being on the positive side of it. But yeah, I think I would. He's been around a really competent general manager, but they've never won anything, but they've developed and drafted well and are seemingly in a great spot with prospects and players, and they've made great trades.
Yeah, they've transitioned from one core to the next.
They are a desirable franchise in the league, and they look really good. So, I would probably feel a little bit better if he was around. Yeah. Having no knowledge of the man, that's just part of this. So, let's go to Joey in Nashville. We're going all over the world today. Joey in Nashville.
I'm watching the Minnesota and Dallas game last night, and I can't help but to see the depth on left wing for Dallas currently sitting at Jason Robertson, which we don't know if he'll be back next year or not. We got Sam Steele and then Michael Bunting. And if you're looking at teams that Toronto could make a move for and with this upcoming offseason, I think Dallas and the Matthew Nyes ability to be traded, it looks like a marriage that could really happen. You think about Wyatt Johnson coming up, a player like Matthew Nyes playing on his wing looks like a good situation for the Dallas Stars moving forward, and it opens up the opportunity to talk about Thomas Harley. Nyes and Harley both have no trade protection on their current contracts, and their contracts that are about to kick in for Thomas Harley. And so my question to y'all is, do you view Thomas Harley as a true number one in the league? And if you do, I love Matthew Nyes, but is that a person with his current contract situation, a person we are willing to move on from? And do you think it's a good trade for both sides? So let me know. Go Leafs, go.
That's crazy. Thanks, Joey. That's crazy that we got that call today, and I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Today, I wrote about the Oilers today, and I said the one thing the Oilers can't do this summer is to look at their roster and say, we got to get rid of him, and no thought about who to get in, right? This has been my thing that, let's get rid of this guy more. Who can we get in? So I took 5 minutes today, and I said, who around the league, under contract, beloved, who would be perfect for the Leafs? And I was like, Thomas Harley.
No!
And I was like, so I thought
you and Joey are
I thought of
goats.
Matthew Nyes, and I was like, who says no? Nyes for Harley. And the answer is Dallas.
Dallas Stars.
Thomas Harley was he 22?
I think he's a little older.
23, 4 maybe.
Let me see.
But he was Canada's most...
He's 24 years old.
24. Most impactful D, not named Cale Makar, maybe Sanheim.
Yeah.
But he is absolutely a true top pair guy. He skates, he moves it, he's everything the Leafs need. He is the perfect sort of antidote to their inability to break the puck out. And so, that was one guy that I was like, I would do that for Matthew Nyes. I don't know, tape something else to Matthew Nyes. It wouldn't be, but I just don't see why Dallas would do it because they don't have the D behind Harley to pick up the slack.
Yeah, no, they have Heiskanen, but you need two good guys.
It's like Heiskanen, Lindell, Liam Bichel's a big third pair guy.
They're
but
good. Those guys are good, but Thomas Harley's a huge part of that equation.
Massive strength of what makes them the Dallas Stars. I think it's a great idea when looking around the league. And this is the sort of stuff, and you go, okay, I can't get him. Could I for this much? Or who's the next guy behind that? That, to me, is how you go about fixing the team. But I truly think it's the craziest thing that the two players in mind I had for a trade in my head was the call we got today.
That's
crazy. You're crazy.
But I would say that that's a type of trade you could make with some really good prospects or a top or a first round pick, or you could...
You're like, Dallas, you're going to reboot.
Here's the core of the trade. The two guys that will matter the most are Nyes and Harley, but here's what the Leafs are going to add on in that situation to kind of make... But it's just, they don't have it.
And if you had to do Nyes and Ben Danford
Sure. I mean, I would drive Ben Danford to the airport, but I don't think that's going to get it done. Like, I think they would probably ask if you get your pick this year for that.
You know how that happens. The only way this happens is if they decide to not do Robertson. And they go, Nyes makes 7.5 or 7.75 mil. Robertson's going to be 12. We can flip Robertson for a high price, get another D back for him. Okay.
Call.
And all of a sudden they need a left winger who's
Scott White
22.
works in Dallas?
We just did it.
Oh, my God.
Thomas Harley, your newest Maple Leaf. Now we just need a GM and a president to facilitate this, to place the call.
Oh, my God. That's
and then
great.
figure out who Jason Robertson goes for.
I think the other ones are more just kind of fun calls. Did you want to do some Oilers before we get to?
Yeah, or do you want to do a fun call?
Yeah, sure.
Elliot's just doing someone signed a contract. I'm just Dylan Holloway, 5 years, 7.75, which is the Nyes number.
Dylan Holloway's really good.
Yeah. Would have been useful. Oh, that's a tough. You know, it's almost like St. Louis did this today as a slap in the face to the Oilers. The timing's insane. To be like, oh, were you missing one really good depth guy?
It's like, oh, you didn't like Colton Dock and Trent Frederick, although Colton Dock had some moments. They moved him up a little bit. He was all right. But like, just their
how'd
depth.
Roslovic work out for you? How'd, they're going through a Savoy workout. How'd,
Connor was talking about last night post-game about how much faster the Ducks were. This Holloway skate, he's pretty quick.
Man, the contract today feels really
That's targeted.
Cool.
Let's do Keith in Kitchener. I can't remember this one.
I'm sure you guys have already gone over this a few times, but just wondering if the Game 7 ticket aftermarket to the World Series in Toronto was $15,000, what would Game 7 for Stanley Cup final be in Toronto for a Leafs game? Are we thinking 25, 30,000? Or is that too high, too low? Just wondering your thoughts. Thanks a lot.
Well, with Dougie's new
$1 million.
with Dougie's new rule.
Oh, yeah.
The resale. Yeah, the resale. But why didn't you maybe mix that one in last year?
Yeah.
Like around October, November, save some people some dough. I think that if you are going to go all across sports, I think the most expensive ticket anywhere like you could get would be a Game 7 Toronto Maple Leafs Stanley Cup final.
Do you know historically, statistically, games 5 or 6 where the home team can win will be a more valuable, more expensive ticket than Game 7.
Because you don't have the crippling.
You're not
going
to watch your team lose.
Listen, as a person who's experienced that within the last year, it sucks.
Yeah.
It's painful.
Oh, at least it wasn't close.
Yeah. God. It's not good. Like, what else would be, I guess, New York Knicks Game 7
I know.
of a NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Super Bowl is really expensive.
I worked
World Cup, says Derek. That'd be really expensive. But like for professional sports.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I worked at the Score for 5 years or something, and a guy who owns the Score there, John Lever, did own the Score. Awesome family. And they were going to go to Rangers. Who the Rangers play? The Kings in the final at Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
I know a guy in New York who's got seats on the glass at Madison Square Garden. And John was like, he's got money. He was like, see if I can get those tickets or whatever. And I reached out to find out they were $10,000 US a seat. Wow. In Madison Square Garden. So like, I can't imagine that here. I mean, you're looking at almost 15 Canadian.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be 15 here. It would be more. It'd be higher.
It'd be north of that.
But that's illegal now. So
you can't gouge anymore. Quickly, before we go to Mike Kelly, I'm sure we'll get into this a bit with Mike Kelly, but I really woke up this morning and just like one of the first thoughts I had before I went on with Ben and Gunner on the morning show was like, I can't believe the Ducks beat the Oilers.
I know.
I am in disbelief. And watching the series play out, in retrospect, I shouldn't be in disbelief because of how some of these games looked. But especially after that Game 5 where they were just so clinical. And they just got ran out of the building last night, bud.
So funny because the Oilers have always been able to score, but for forever they've been trying to defend.
Yeah.
And so you're watching this hyper-skilled team be like, all right, we got to get in Dickinson and get in Doku hits and get in Murphy, and we're going to try to defend. And Anaheim was like, we're good at offense and offense only, so we're going to play offense.
Yeah.
And they just went. Odd man rushes last night were 10-4 for Anaheim.
Yeah. Felt worse than that.
Turnover scoring chances were 18-10. Like, they just counter strike sort of thing. Yeah, they were too fast for the Oilers. They played all offense. Good for Quenneville for leaning into it.
And you got to give Jackson Lacombe his flowers.
That dude.
I think he kind of, McDavid's banged up. He's still got points or whatever.
Yeah.
But as far as quote unquote shutting down McDavid, you're never going to do that. But to contain him the way he did.
Yeah, no points last night.
I don't know what the head-to-head, how many minutes head-to-head he played with McDavid in this series, but it had to be half the time he was on the ice. He was out there, and he did a fantastic job. He's probably the star of the first, is he the best player in the first round of the playoffs?
Conn Smythe leader.
Yeah, I wonder, we can do that in the game time later. I wonder where he's at, but he's been excellent. And we all kind of happy going, who the hell is Jackson Lacombe?
Right.
When they first signed that contract, but boy, he's been unbelievable.
The Oilers, 0 power play attempts last night. They didn't get a look on the power play, which is such a strength of theirs.
Yeah.
And their penalty kill train wreck.
Killed him.
Killed them.
McDavid said it killed him all year, too, in the postgame. Anyways, go ahead.
The year they went to the Cup final, not last year, but the one before, they were 92% on the kill or something.
Their combined between penalty kill and power play was unbelievable.
They ate off that the whole way.
That's what you need to do. All right, bud.
Yes, indeed. Okay, when we come back, we're going to be in touch with our boy Mike Kelly, talk about some data-centric thoughts.
I think he's at the Bell Center, potentially.
Ooh, beautiful.
Yeah. So
all right,
big
more
game
with Mike
tonight,
Kelly after this. Welcome back to Real Kyper and Bourne. I am your host today, Justin Bourne, here with my boy Sammy McKee, and we are hello. He's here too, and we are now joined by the director of analytics and insights at Sportsnet or Sports Logic, the hockey analyst for NHL Network, friend of the show, and someone we're happy to have on. Looking good. Is that a baby blue suit, Kels?
Hockey Night in Canada jacket.
It just needs a little patch, and I'd be Dick Irvin.
Well, thanks for joining us, man. So you are there, you're live and ready to go tonight. Are you covering it on behalf of NHL Network, or?
Yeah, doing a little bit with NHL Network coming up here, but honestly here, just someone who wants to take in a great game. The city is on fire, and the Bell Center, as you guys know, especially in the playoffs, I mean, there's nothing else in the league like it. So it's a fun place to be.
Yeah, I also was listening to John Cooper's availability today, Mike, and was he referring to you when he was like, hey, Mikey, when he was talking about an analytics guy? Was that you that was getting referred to?
That is accurate, yes. He was talking something to the effect of like, teams' winning percentage to win the cup at the start of the season is pretty low.
Yeah.
8 or 9% or whatever it was. And then he's like, if only there was an analytics guy in the room, and everyone kind of looks at me. I'm like, hello. I don't know that off the top of my head. Sounds right to me.
Mike, you can't make excuses for your fourth straight first round exit, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah.
I feel bad asking this as you're in the Bell Center, but I'm going to ask a Leafs question here.
Sure.
I mean, analytics guy, lots of ties in the industry. Do you have any experience with John Chayka? Anything you can share? If you can handle this job, is there anything you can tell us on him, Mike?
A little bit. Very early in my career, I actually worked with John for on a contract for a short period of time. So I got to know him a little bit. This is going back about 11 years ago.
Okay.
Before he went to the Coyotes, shortly before. So I got to know him a little bit. He's a highly intelligent and driven individual. I haven't had much contact with him over the last 10 years. So, that's a third of his life. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you all about who he is today.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty well documented, the path that he was on, and what worked in Arizona while he was there, what didn't work. And like I said, though, I wouldn't be able to tell you from the last 10 years or so where he's at. So
fair enough.
Mike, every NHL team now has people running numbers, and they have a mountain of information. Tell us a little bit about how teams glean insights from this mountain of data. Like this is if the Leafs want to run a more data-centric program here, what does that mean? What's that look like?
Well, look, in the Leafs case, it's kind of hard to say because they've had one of the most robust analytics departments in the league for a number of years. How much of that actually got into the decision-making under Kyle Dubas? I imagine quite a bit. Under Brad Treliving, I'm not sure. So I don't know that it's, somebody like John comes in, or somebody who has a more of a background in analytics comes in and opens the door to all this new information and technology. Maybe some, but I imagine it would be more integral in terms of being a part of decision-making, for better or worse. So, that's the thing with Toronto. It's not like I'm sitting in Montreal right here, right? Mm-hmm. About 5-ish years ago, they hired Chris Boucher, who I used to work with at Sport Logic, to be their director of analytics. They didn't have a department, so he built it. That's very different than going into Toronto as a GM with an already established, very robust department. Maybe you bring in new people. Maybe you put more of an emphasis on certain information. Maybe you build out your infrastructure differently. Those are all the things that you can kind of do with fresh eyes.
So let me ask you, if you were to work for an NHL team, what would you find important? You guys pull so much information over the course of any given, day. What do you think matters?
Look, for me, you really drill it down to the end point. It's what are the ground truths of the game that you have to be efficient in and good at to win? And then what are you trying to do as a team? Because there's more than one way to accomplish any goal, scoring goals, defending, etc. And I'd want to have checklists on both of those fronts. And the ground truths are non-negotiable. You have to hit them. And then your style of player, what you believe, your coaching staff believes will get the best out of that group. That can be a little more fluid. What I would want to do at the end of the day is ultimately house as much good information and data as you can puck and player tracking data, third-party event data, build metrics in-house. Do all of these things and make it available very simply to every facet of the organization so that scouts are using the same platform as your analytics department, as your coaches, as your front office executives. Very holistic approach. And I think making sure that everybody in the organization is pulling the rope the same way in terms of how to use it effectively is important. And also, I'll say this too, Bourne, because you know this, you dig into numbers as well. One of the great lessons I've learned in my 10 years working in this space is how much and how important it is to understand what you cannot measure or you cannot be certain of. That is just as important as believing in and measuring the things that you can.
Yeah, that's well said there. Guys, okay to move on to the actual hockey?
Yeah, you're good, yep.
So you're in Montreal, Lightning Habs. I mean, to the eye, this has seemingly been incredibly close. And, you know, even Cooper alluded to it this morning, talking about how has there been a 2-goal lead yet, or maybe 1 2-goal lead this whole series? I mean, what are you seeing in this series? What are you expecting tonight? It's going to be electric there, like you said.
It will, yeah. I'm really fascinated to see how the Canadiens come out and start this game. They're a younger group that hasn't really been some of these guys on the edge of advancing, let alone at home. Usually you'd think the home team gets that 5-10 minute bump and the road team's just got to, hold tight and weather the storm, as they say. Tampa's going to give you everything they got in this game. They're a veteran group and they know what's at stake. So I wonder if it might go the other way. Anecdotal hypothesis. I don't know. We'll see. But it's been so close. I mean, the series has been tied for 59% of the time. That's the most of any series. Every game has been a 1-goal game. The outcome is going to be, on the margins, and they're razor thin. So is this a game, like at 5-on-5, goals are 9-8 Montreal. Is this a game where the Suzuki line does something at 5-on-5? They haven't done anything. The depth, here's where it's really different. Top 7 skaters for the Canadiens, forwards in terms of ice time, at even strength have no goals. The bottom 6 have 8. For Tampa, the top 6 guys have 7 goals. The bottom 6 have 1.
Wow.
Roughly the same amount of goals, entirely different. So we'll see. Dobish has been awesome. I think that Tampa can do a better job at getting in his face a little bit more and getting more traffic in front of him. He's a big guy. And Vasilevsky's been, good, but ultimately outdueled to this point. I wouldn't even say he's been bad. He's just, he hasn't been as good as the other guy.
It's funny you said that they need to get in Dobish's face a little bit more. Dobish is hoping that Corey Perry and Brendan Hagel aren't listening to you right now.
Yeah, that's not.
Those two guys, they live in the blue bank.
They know how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Corey Perry has actually he's played the second most elimination games in his NHL career. Only Ray Bourque had played more of that. By the way, he's been in 36 elimination games over the course of his career. So, Kels, when we pull all this information, I've seen all the stats about how even it is. 5-on-5, a million different categories. They're the same team. Underneath, when you're looking at the numbers, does one team have an advantage in rush chances or forecheck or cycle? Is there somewhere you're seeing a leg up?
Well, I guess ultimately, Bourne, just a little different because quality shots are roughly the same, expected goals are roughly the same, and that's what that all meshes into. But rush chances have favored Tampa. I don't think that should be entirely surprising. Cycles favored Montreal. So you can split it in different ways and find differences, but ultimately at the very end, it all comes together to be something that's been pretty close. Mm-hmm. I'll say this, though. A lot more, Tampa's had more shots, more chances, but from slightly less dangerous areas, where Montreal's had less, but more dangerous. Mm-hmm. That net front inner slot area I just talked about for Tampa, it's important, one, because that's where so many goals get scored anyways. But two, like I said, Dobish is a big guy. This is going to sound a little ridiculous because it's the same, of course, for every goalie, but the closer you are shooting to Dobish and the less reaction time he has, the worse he's been this year. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's kind of uniform true, but it's even more true with him relative to other goalies. So that's where Tampa Bay, they had 11 inner slot shots in game 4, which they won. They've only got 24, I think, off the top of my head in the entire series. So there's been games where they've had 2 or 3. Like, it's just they got to get in there more.
And I'll just add that Vasilevsky, I think, has been worse from distance over the past few playoffs. So almost a game of where Montreal needs to pepper him and Tampa Bay needs to get inside.
Yeah, just with Vasilevsky, I can't think of a guy that went from the most horrifying guy to go up against to it feels like every point shot's going in. Like, the flip with him has been unbelievable.
Without going into like too much detail, say if you look at Slavkovsky's game 1 overtime goal and you look at Tessier's game winning goal last game, there's something like the glove, those shots to the glove. There's something in common with both of them, and he's a great goalie. We know that. We know what his performance has been like in elimination games too, right? Like, is anyone going to be shocked if he comes out here tonight and at the end of the game we're like, Vassy did it. Here we go, game 7.
Yeah,
totally. No, it's very possible. All right, you good on the Canadian series? All right. Yep. So just before we let you go, Mike, want to get your thoughts on the end of the Edmonton Oilers season, the way that played out. Obviously, you'd be familiar with all the people at the fringes of that team. They tried to add and change. Is it as simple as the goaltending problem didn't get fixed? To what is your sort of short form autopsy on this Edmonton Oilers group?
Yeah. I think the Band-Aid is the goaltending. So you could say, like, if you had a better goaltending, you'd better be able to mask the other issues that certainly exist. Look, I think about the team that went to game 7 against Florida. This version of it isn't close to as deep or as good. And McDavid was hurt, and obviously that is a huge factor in all this. Draisaitl had just come back from injury. Who knows if he was 100%? Probably not. Dickinson was banged up. Like, those things are real. But also exist with other teams. I just look to, guess who just signed a big extension today?
I know.
That had to be on purpose. That had to be on purpose.
I know. The timing of that one stings. And you know what? I think they got great value for him. Like, I think he'll outperform that contract. So
definitely.
Him, Broberg, McLeod, Fogle, you just go down the list of guys that left and who's come in and they haven't been as good across the board, right? And then the goaltending thing, I know it's tough. It's obviously tough to try to fix that. But I also look at what Colorado did. They were bold. They went out and understood who can come into our system in the way that we play and be effective. Not who's, a Hall of Famer to be necessarily, but who can win in our structure, in our system. And in the span of a couple weeks, in the middle of a season, they flipped both their goalies and they just won the Jennings Trophy this year. Dan Vladar in Philadelphia, why has that worked? Alex Lyon in Buffalo, why has that worked? These are the things I'd be looking at to try to find someone like that who can help stabilize a position that's been obviously an area of weakness for them.
All right, last one for me, Mike, and you mentioned Colorado there. Another heavyweight tilt in the Central with the Wild advancing past Dallas. I mean, I guess Colorado will be favored in that series, but to me, the Wild look like live dogs. What do you make of that series?
Yeah, I'd favor Colorado too. And Minnesota's no pushover. Like, it was great what they did. They obviously outscored Dallas heavily at 5-on-5. Colorado's power play, I still believe in it, but it hasn't been good for a while. I do think there'll be a correction there. So I favor Colorado. I haven't dug super deep into that one yet, being here in Montreal with that wrapping up last night. But man, Quinn Hughes changes everything for that team, doesn't he? And Matt Boldy, build me a playoff forward, and it's going to look a lot like Matt Boldy. Kaprizov's a beast. Faber had a huge series, so it's going to be awesome. Like, anytime you get a series with top teams with stars everywhere, it makes it a lot of fun to watch. I hope it goes 7.
Yeah, no, that'll be a good one. And then Carolina, Philly, the last one on deck. Philly got a chance.
I was so wrong about Ottawa because I thought they could really give Carolina a good push, and they never even had.
You were wrong, buddy. I picked them to go to the final. I think I may have been more wrong.
Thank you for taking a little of the pain away from me on that one.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But I wonder if Philly's more like what Ottawa, at least I thought they could be against Carolina, because the post-Olympics, Philly is completely dominated the transition game up and back. They don't allow anything that way. And Carolina's got other ways to beat you, but the Flyers' neutral zone game is so impressive. And Pittsburgh scored the second most goals off the rush this season, and Philly just took it away for the most part. Carolina scored the most, right? So now, again, they can do it in other ways, but you got that battle again, and Philly just won it against Pittsburgh. So at the very least, I expect more than 4 games, which I was very wrong about in the first round.
No kidding. Well, Kels, thank you very much for taking time to join us today. Enjoy the game tonight. Looks like fun.
All right. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thanks. That's Mike Kelly, hockey analyst at NHL Network and director of analytics and insights for Sport Logic.
So I was watching that Wild game last night, and God, Faber and Hughes together, borderline unfair.
Gross.
Like,
Boldy's also like my favorite player in the
How
league.
many teams would both those guys be the best defensemen on?
Yeah. No, it's awesome.
They're amazing to watch. But that play where Quinn Hughes 100% shot it off the skate.
Did we get him to verbally any confirmation on that?
That was but I don't need it.
But there is a guy kind of behind the pile.
He looked
he could be
right
slap
at him,
passing it to.
ripped it off the skate.
I'm not opposed to the idea.
No,
I have tried to shoot it off a D-man before.
Yeah.
I know the brain can go there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
he's he's decent. But
that series is, you talk about superstars and just teams that have played against each other. And here's the thing, like for Canadian hockey fans listening, American hockey fans listening, a ton of the guys who played for America and played for Canada, like, I mean, you think of the 2 stars for the Wild, Faber, Hughes, Boldy, McKinnon,
Slavin,
McCarr.
yeah.
Like there's all, no, but those 2 teams.
I see. Yeah.
It's almost like I'm rooting for
you're
Colorado.
seeing Canada and
Yes.
Colorado. Okay.
Yes, like I'm seeing, like I can't have like Bill Guerin's team.
Trump's going to show up in a Minnesota Wild sweater tomorrow.
Beat Joe Sakic's team with the 2 Canadian studs on it. Like I'm really rooting for the Colorado Avalanche in that series.
I can't believe how hard you just swung me.
Oh,
in favor
yeah.
of rooting for the Avs.
Yeah.
You know, the Tampa Bay thing is something I want to go back to.
Yep.
We have a clip of Cooper and talking about first round
Oh,
exits. This is this Tampa team is coming to, I don't know if they're coming to a crossroads, but they're getting older. And it gets to a point where every year you spend to get better, just like Edmonton, just like the Leafs did for a while. And it's like, if they don't find a way through here, they're in some trouble. So I'm curious to see what Coop had to say.
Yeah. Cooper, Derek, Cooper clip 1 on their first round exits.
Of late. And so let's be honest. I don't know who's, like the percentage of winning a Stanley Cup when you start the year for something, I think at the high, it's like 8%. And for, some teams that just snuck into the playoffs, I'm sure it was way less than that. Do we have an analytics guy here that could tell us that? But am I far off on that, Mikey? It's super hard to win. And you get here and everybody's like, well, how come you're not yeah, because the chances of you winning are like slim. But you have to start giving yourself a chance. And we give ourselves a chance by making the playoffs. We're not giving ourselves a chance when we get bumped in the first round. And we have of late, which has been unusual for us. That's not been our MO for a long time prior to the last couple of years. And so I think, you call it scar tissue, I call it anger, I call it like urgency. There's so many different ways you can say this, but yeah, I think it's like look in the mirror time and I'm included in that. It's not just that core group. I consider myself that core too. And so, we got to look in the mirror here.
When he looks in the mirror, does he see a reflection of him wearing a Maple Leafs quarter zip in it?
I don't think so.
Go ahead.
It's like
What do you think
the
of
first time hearing Cooper. I'm Team Cooper.
Yeah.
Coop's my guy. Yeah. But it's one of the first times I've heard a Cooper clip where he's waxing philosophical and gone
poetic.
He doesn't have it here. He doesn't have it here. Like, to me, remember when the Milwaukee Bucks lost and Giannis was like, is it really failure? I forget how he framed it, but he tried to be like, is it actually failure to do what I've done or whatever? And it was like, well, it was a really good answer, but it was like, but you didn't win.
You didn't win.
So you did. It is failure. And that's kind of how I feel about what Coop just did there. Like, it's really hard to win. It's like, yeah, okay, but
that's something you can say.
You're still not winning.
2 cups.
Yeah.
Right? Like if whoever the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs said that when they're down 3-2 in the first round and they were like,
it's hard to win.
It's hard. You got an 8% chance.
Yeah.
Everybody
that we're here, everyone should be lauding me with praise. And
exactly.
It's like,
I don't know. I just, me and Coop, but it's mostly.
It's so funny though that you would like take him here in 2 seconds.
I would. I
think the clip thing would get tough for us.
It would wear thin.
It's just like there's so much more to decode because he's so thoughtful. Like Berube's been a lot of.
Can we get somewhere in the middle of those?
Yeah.
between grunts and poetry. Can we get somewhere in the middle of those, please?
Yeah, I don't think that's too much to ask. I do kind of want to hang on to some of the Oilers stuff.
Okay.
For the back half, but we do have some clips, and we might as well touch on it here just because I know we're going to do text and stuff in the back half the second hour.
If we're going to play one clip from McDavid from last night, let me get my sheet here. Let's play the clip one, the one that everyone's kind of talking about. Clip one, please.
What was it about your game that you found it in spurts, but you just couldn't maintain it, I guess? What did you see out there in this?
I mean, that's been the whole year. We've been searching for consistency all year. Obviously, we didn't find it here in the playoffs.
You're wide. I mean, it seems like it goes back to game one. It's been all year, searching. Any way to put your finger on how come it was so hard to find the overall game this season?
That was tough. We were an average team all year. An average team with high expectations, you're going to be disappointed. We just never found it.
Average team all year. They finished with 93 points.
He's right, though. Average. They were in a dog crap division, and if they were in any other division, they would have been way more in trouble than I
wonder if you averaged out the points from every team in the NHL, it's got to come to somewhere around 93, I would think. He's not wrong. We did a lot of the thing this year where they'll get healthy, they're going to find it, they'll get a good goalie, and it didn't happen. In the end, you go, maybe it just wasn't there. Do you think any of that is at management?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know did you hear Biz on TNT last night?
Yeah.
He nailed it.
Yeah.
I
actually think that was the best Biz segment I've ever heard.
Agreed. When I listened to it, because I woke up and I was kind of looking through stuff, I was like, damn, I was kind of going to go with that today. But they did. They failed them. Look at the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. Basically, since Stan Bowman took over. Mm-hmm. It's kind of been a disaster. And they've kind of been propped up by the fact that McDavid and Draisaitl and, Hyman to a lesser extent, and all these other guys, Bouchard's been unbelievable, and, Ryan Nugent. But outside of that, it's kind of been, I guess, for his words, average.
Yeah,
And those guys are just so far above that they kind of pull everybody up. And when they don't pull everybody up and the goalies don't make any saves, you lose in 6 to the Ducks.
Jeff Jackson took over at one point there, and I don't know if they had Bowman yet, but it was 2024, July 1st. He signed 8 free agents. Sign. It was Arvidsson. Yes. It was Skinner. Yep. Jeff Skinner. Yep. And this whole list of guys. And then they didn't have enough money for Broberg and Holloway. Mm-hmm. And since then, by the way, of the 8 guys, he signed 2 guys left in the organization. Josh Brown, who didn't play a game for him this year. And one other one we can't remember what it is, but it ain't great.
We'll get more Bowman with Doug.
Yeah, we're going to get a lot more into the Edmonton Oilers and their season and all that stuff. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Doug MacLean without Nick Kyprios. We'll see how this goes. See you in the next hour. Welcome to the National Hour of Real Kyper and Bourne. I am Justin Bourne. Nick Kyprios not with us today, but we got Sammy McKee. Sammy, hello.
Hey, man.
We are live on Sportsnet, Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. If you miss our show live, you can always get it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And as a reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne is brought to you by Bet365. A couple other things.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up on YouTube, apparently. Text us at 590-590, back half of the hour.
Yep.
McKee and I are going to answer some questions. We'll read them after we get to the man.
And we'll also do some YouTube comments, which is scary.
That is scary.
So we'll do so if you at me on there, at Sportsnet on there, we'll read some comments on there as well.
All right. That sounds fun, but also sounds fun as we are now joined by Doug MacLean, former NHL president, GM, head coach, the man, the myth, the legend. Mac, how you doing today, pal?
Terrific. What's with Kyprios?
He's interviewing the GM job.
Like, seriously, he gets a day off and I haven't had one in 3 years? Like, what a joke.
I did suggest that maybe that would be a reasonable time to healthy scratch you for a night, Mac. But
I mean, get inside baseball here. I texted Mac last night. I said, hey, no Kyper. Like, we're willing. I would still love to have you if you're willing to come on without Kyper. And he said, up to you. And I said, well, we would love to have you. And he's like, okay.
All right, well.
So he seemed really thrilled to come on with us.
So, Minnesota Wild.
Okay.
I listened to all the analysis about it, so far all day long. I've listened to the analysis. But the one thing I haven't heard a lot of people talk about is their fourth line.
Okay.
Of Foligno, and McCarron.
Law firm?
Have you seen a fourth line dominate the way they did territorial in a long time? And it kept Dallas off guard. I was shocked by that. I really was.
I mean, that is a massive, strong, talented group. What an odd place to start the Minnesota Wild. Is this just fourth line of the Wild? Are you
seriously?
Well, he picked them to win the cup, so.
But they were an impact group in that. And look, Quinn and Faber, I mean, look, they've been unbelievable. And Quinn, obviously, he's changed their team. There's no denying that. What about the goaltender? What about the goaltender who, by the way, Detroit bypassed? So Detroit takes every Swede for the last 20 years, and they take a kid from the Western League ahead of this guy. And all of a sudden, he's been the star of the series.
You know who else passed on that goalie? The Oilers.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, look, that happens in the draft. That's what the draft's all about. Those things happen on a regular basis. Okay, so, Minnesota looked great. I think my team, as I said, Montreal, Minnesota in the finals. I'm still hanging in there.
Yeah, you're looking good.
We'll see. I mean, you guys were poo-pooing me there last week, but it's looking okay. So we'll see. They're both playing pretty good hockey.
Looking better than mine.
I just want to say one thing about the Leafs. I'm so sick of talking about this. Yes. Whatever this has been, this search is
join the club,
one of the most bizarre searches I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, I was talking to a human resource, a vice president of human resource for a major company.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, leadership, and his name is Mike Roberts, great friend of mine, a brilliant guy. And he says, players don't quit on teams. They don't quit on teams. Players quit because of bad leadership. Mm-hmm. That's a big difference. Leadership in organizations, companies, leadership with hockey teams. Why do guys leave organizations and walk the way they can? And typically it's because of poor leadership. So just a little tidbit for Keith Pelly as he works his way through this challenging process. This was his biggest hire in his career.
Yeah.
When he said it, I thought the same way. And today I'm a little nervous about the biggest hire in his career.
Well,
Matt Sundin, I think is a great move. I really do.
Really?
I think it's a good move because, he's going to be an advisor or whatever he happens to be. I hope for the Leafs' sake, it's a full-time situation where he's actually here and not living in Sweden.
Yeah.
So that's a difference maker for me if he's on site and around. So I think that's good. Chayka, I'm not a fan, so that's fine. If he gets the job, he gets the job. But I'm just caught off guard. I was thinking today, Cheveldayoff probably has done in my opinion, has done an amazing job in Winnipeg from a drafting perspective, from a trade perspective, in a challenging market, trying to get people to go there. Probably ready for a change. Did anybody ask for permission to talk to him? He's been one of the top 5 GMs in the game lately. He's done a real good job.
What about not asking Armstrong, Doug? They never asked Doug Armstrong either. Why not?
Armstrong never discussed. Caught me really off. BriseBois, I'd like to know if it's BS or not. I would like to know that was that true, or is this just a way to pacify, the people in the market? I really would like to know if in fact it is true. So who knows? That's fine. But they weren't going to give him permission, obviously. But there's lots of GMs in the league who would have, a guy like Chevy could have really used a change of scenery for me, and I think he'd be a good man. But that's fine. That's just my own opinion.
Doug, can I go back to the Sundin thing? And I mean, you mentioned that it just being like an advisor role or whatever. But what's been kind of reported around here that it's more than that? Like, if it were to be a president's role or something in that, a vice president of hockey operations or whatever, would you be confident in him doing that role?
Well, he hasn't been a GM, but my vibe on Sundin that he's a smart guy, and I think he's a guy that can read the room. He's a guy that can be around the team and give good advice. I think it's a good hire. I really do. I mean, Ty Domi. I heard a story the other day that Chayka was around London. He was a physiotherapist or something there, and ended up dealing with Max, and all of a sudden Ty helped get him the job in Phoenix and through a minority owner there. I mean, this is all really bizarre to me, but who knows? I mean, obviously they're friends, so we'll see where it all shakes out. But this, as I said, players don't quit on teams. They quit and leave because of poor leadership. So let's just remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you want to have strong, confident leadership. I guess I want your thoughts on.
I'm talking about Toronto and I'm talking about Edmonton.
Okay.
Same
exactly
thing.
Where we're going to go.
Have a look at both those organizations today.
Yeah.
With two or four of the premier players in hockey. Mm-hmm. Two of them on the verge of unrestricted free agency within a couple of years.
First, let me just do the Toronto part where, Chayka and Sundin would kind of come together. Like, one of the things we said early on is the first hired to be a president, the next to be hired by the president. In your time in front offices, I'm sure there's not always a perfect dynamic between two people who are in the decision-making roles. Can that work when Chayka's not Sundin's guy, but he goes, okay, I know I've got to work with this guy?
I mean, obviously you would prefer it to be, a team from the onset, not that you want to develop the team. But look, it happens. I mean, John Davidson went in, he's the guy that brought Armstrong from Dallas to St. Louis. They had a strong working relationship together. So, I think because of the Ty Domi relationship, because he's such great friends with Sundin, obviously Sundin must feel comfortable with what Ty is saying about Chayka, and I don't even know if they've talked.
Yeah,
but it's a little bizarre that this is a monumental pair of hires, and one has been out of the game 20 years, or never really involved in management, but a superstar player. And the other guy's been out of the league, I don't know, 10 years, 8 years?
Six or
I
seven?
don't know.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
So it's not normal, and that's fine if it's not normal. Yeah. Sometimes that works out, but it's really different. That's all. And it's been one of the strangest processes I've ever seen, led by a guy who's been a solid executive in Keith Pelly his whole career.
Yep.
I don't understand it.
Can I ask you about the Oilers? You mentioned them there. How much of what just happened with the Oilers falls at the feet of management? Because it feels like they've made a lot of mistakes in the past couple of years.
Well, look, first of all, you got you've got McDavid and Draisaitl both injured coming into the playoffs.
Yeah,
That doesn't help, and we don't know the severity of it, but I guarantee you Draisaitl's was serious, and we know that McDavid's was certainly bothered by it. There's no denying that. The moves that have been made have been really challenging, and you guys talked about how I had written down Holloway and Broberg. I mean, Broberg is one of the top young defensemen in the game, and Holloway. The fact that they didn't match those offers is mind-boggling to me. That you let two guys walk away, cap situations or not, you've got to figure that out. But every move, and they're a little bit like Toronto. Every move that was made this year looked like reasonable moves, and not one of them really worked out. Not one really worked out. Then you look at Edmonton and the moves that were made there. How many of them panned out? Frederick was a good fourth line guy in Boston, a competitive battler. 8-year deal. I know it's to keep the cap down, but give me a break. And you lose McLeod. Was it Connor Brown that was there that played well with Matthews? What happened to him? I just think the moves that were made by management have a lot to be desired. I really believe. And the goaltending, you can't go into the goal. How do you go in thinking you have a chance to win the Stanley Cup with the goaltending they have?
Yeah.
I mean, it just can't happen. So there's so many things. And look, you're always strapped in management, but it just hasn't worked out, so many things. And Connor summed it up. We were average all year. How many times do we talk about it? Are they ever going to get out of it? I thought it might come together in the playoffs, but obviously they just aren't good enough.
Yeah, they look so good in Game 5. I was like, all right, here they come. It's finally time, and it just didn't happen. So,
but you know what? I watched Anaheim play the Leafs in Toronto there, a month ago?
Yeah.
And I remember coming away from that game saying, oh, my God, this is the making of a heck of a hockey team. Then they had a little downturn. But you're looking at the young players, the Cutter Gauthier, talked about him last week on the show. The Senate is, the young kid from Oshawa who's is a star already.
Seneca, yeah, he's amazing.
Seneca, Lacombe, the goaltending has been good. I mean, I'm really impressed. I mean, Patty Verbeek may be the MVP GM of the year so far.
Well, and also you like Quenneville there. Like, do you think he had an impact on it kind of reminds me of Chicago at the start of their upswing when he had Taves and Kane and those guys.
Well, I said last week about Quenneville, I said he wants a track meet. He wants a track meet with the Oilers. And we talked about it last week, and it was a track meet. Yeah. Joel is the wily veteran. I mean, this guy he's got a way with players where they really like playing for him. He's tough, but he's a real good, and he's been a good coach. I remember him in the American League. I mean, the Leafs had him in Newfoundland. He was one of the up and coming coaches years ago. He's always been a good coach. There's no denying that. And yeah, him and Verbeek have done a hell of a job there.
So I just wanted to move to Ottawa quick with you, Doug. I don't know if you caught any of Brady Tkachuk's 27 minutes yesterday and sort of the narrative surrounding him.
Was that on his podcast?
No. He sat down by himself and faced the media in Ottawa for 27 minutes. What do you make everything around him in Ottawa right now?
Well, you know what? I love Brady Tkachuk as a player. He was lost in the series, totally lost for whatever reason. There was a lot of times during the season he was lost, and things weren't happening the way. And then down the stretch, I thought, okay, Brady's got it going here. He's gonna have a great playoff. I think that long term, it's probably not going to work out. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that he signs with Ottawa because I happen to like the group. I like Travis. I like the group there. I just think that there's a little bit of bad vibe on both sides here. I think that management aren't overly thrilled, and he's not overly thrilled. Probably that's what's going on.
So I'm more of a two-way street than it's.
That's what I see. Yeah. That's what I see right now. And I may be wrong on that. It's just my own opinion,
Yeah, well,
but as my mother used to say, I'm just telling you what I heard. I don't know that it's the truth.
Well, we were having a conversation before the show today, and it's a conversation a lot of people are having out there. It doesn't make fan bases happy, but like there are some American captains in Canada, and some fan bases are worried, who is most likely to lose it, whether it's Matthews, whether it's Brady. You got Connor Hellebuck, who's not a captain, but he kind of is the leader in Winnipeg. And of course, McDavid, I know he's not American, but there's a lot of teams going, a little worried right now.
And I'll go back to my original comment. Bad leadership. I don't think it's anything to do with Canada. I really don't. I think it's overplayed. Guys love being in Canada. Sure, they love being home. Sure, they like being in Florida, I guess. But I think it's overplayed a little bit. I think it more comes back to what kind of leadership do these organizations have? And we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Yep.
So I got yelled at by both my co-hosts yesterday when I brought this up. But is John Cooper just going to coach forever in Tampa? Like, if they lost tonight, is there ever a world where that ends?
I wouldn't be surprised that Coop would go somewhere else. It wouldn't surprise me. I think that everybody. Look, it's two sides. Sometimes they're ready for a change too.
That's what I mean.
As successful as Coop has been and as good a job as he's done, I just think that sometimes a change of scenery. It's tough to coach that long in one market. It really is, and it's not like coaching in Toronto or New York, I guess, but it's not easy. I wouldn't be surprised that we'll see John Cooper somewhere else eventually.
Toronto?
Oh my God, will you let it go? Toronto's the only place, I guarantee you, Toronto's the only place you'd want to go.
Of
Sam.
course.
Oh, yeah, right.
He wouldn't want to go to Detroit where he lives from 30 minutes outside Detroit. No, he'd want to go to your team, Sam.
Detroit's close to Toronto. It's only a 4-hour drive. No problem.
Yeah, no, but there's coaches. It's been a heck of a run for him. It really has. I mean, Howard Dolgan's a great friend of mine, the owner of Syracuse, and we just had lunch a couple of weeks ago. And I mean, he had Coop in Syracuse, right out of the USHL, and it's been a wonderful ride for him. But would Coop like a change of scenery? I wouldn't be surprised down the road, but who knows? I wouldn't know.
The coaching situation around the NHL is fascinating. Obviously, there's another series coming up. Rod Brind'Amour, he's been in Carolina for a long time. His family has roots. But the guy on the other bench, Rick Tocchet, brand new, year one, they get past the first round. First, kind of a two-parter because I wanted to...
Just a minute. Did I pick Philly in that series? I think I did.
I'm guessing if I picked Pittsburgh, you picked Philly.
So 100%.
So you had Ottawa then? In the other one?
I picked Ottawa. It was a little. I was like Kelly on his prediction with Ottawa. I was a little off on that one. I didn't go deep enough into the analytics like Kelly did. Is that his name? Is that his name?
Mike Kelly?
Yeah.
He nailed that. So two thoughts on Tocchet. One, how much credit do you give him for their success this year? And also, I kind of want you to weigh in on the Michkov stuff. Like sometimes a guy's just not ready, but the fans want him to be ready, and so the coach looks bad. I'd love to get your take on Tocchet and Michkov as well.
I think Tock has really become a really solid coach. I watched him in Phoenix as a young coach, in a tough situation. Vancouver, I thought he was on the verge of doing a really good job, but obviously he wanted to go to Philly. I think he's done a heck of a job this year, but I hate talking leadership. But I look at Keith Jones and Briere and Tocchet. Could you tell me a group of leaders of an organization that would be on the same page like those three guys are? And I think it spills over. I think it's that critical and it's that important. The kid, I watch what the job they've done with Zegras,
Yeah.
I mean, this kid, every shift I want to watch him in Philadelphia. Drove me crazy in Anaheim. Want to watch him every shift in Philadelphia. So yeah, Tock's done a good job, but I think it's a team there, and I think Jones is a solid. I was with Keith Jones in Washington when we drafted him there, and he's always been a solid citizen. So it's not surprising that management team, players, all former players, That doesn't happen very often anymore. So I think they're a good job. With Michkov, to me, it's nothing because he's a kid. And it's a big stage, and it's asking a lot. And I thought they played it well where they put him back. They haven't discouraged them. They've given hope by getting them back in there. So I think they've handled it really well.
Well, you'll see some more leadership, all former players when it's Sundin, Domi, Roberts, Tucker, everyone else here. So
hey, and you know what? They're all good guys.
Absolutely.
They're all the little I know of them, and I don't know them well, but I know Gary Roberts to say hello, and I know Matt's to say hello, and they're all good people, Ty and I have had some, we've had a few little, some fun things go on, but I like Ty too. So I don't wish them any bad luck. I just, I hope it works out. But as Keith said, you gotta trust Keith because he said it's his biggest hire of his career. Now he hired Kyprios and he hired but I'm a little confused. He
nailed
thinks
those
this is
two.
bigger than those.
He nailed those two hires.
That is offensive.
Yeah, actually he came after we were there, but then he bailed on us for whatever reason. He wanted to go to play golf or whatever. I don't know what the hell he
that's why he
disappeared
left.
to.
I couldn't figure out why he bailed on you guys.
The last thing before we let you go to just 3 teams played tonight who are down 3-2. You got the Lightning, the Bruins, and the Mammoth. Anyone have a chance to come back in this series?
Well, as I said, I picked the Bruins. I picked the Bruins to beat Buffalo, although I'm hoping for Buffalo because of Lindy, obviously.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me the Bruins will go back for Game 7, and if they do, I'd be real nervous. And then I would win another series. Montreal, I think, eliminates Tampa Bay. I think they will. What's the expected goals for tonight? Do I know that?
6.43 divided by pi.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Asking the wrong guy.
But you know what? I enjoy listening to Kelly, but the interesting the slot chances and the rush chances.
Slot chances and rush chances are not fancy.
Yeah,
there's nothing
probably
fancy
had a guy writing those on a napkin for your game.
Those are not fancy stats.
Instead of all that, I would really look at one thing. The goaltender for Montreal and the goaltender from Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
totally.
Because the goaltender from Tampa Bay has not been good enough for me. And he's a stud.
Yeah.
So is he going to play, the game that they need? And let's not forget this, boys. Montreal got a major break with Hedman not around.
Totally.
A major break.
Yeah. No, he's integral.
How many teams can lose their franchise defenseman? We talk about Quinn Hughes and what he's done for Minnesota. What does Hedman do for the Tampa Bay Lightning? And not having him, this is a 28-minute-a-game guy head-to-head against the other team's best players. This is a monumental loss for Coop. It really is.
And Carter Hart going to be able to get Vegas across the line?
And maybe they were uptight that BriseBois was going to go to Toronto. Maybe that's throwing them off.
Yeah.
Maybe
he was torn on that decision.
Making them nervous. Who is that? Carter Hart's been a good story. All the troubles and battling back. I'm a little concerned about Vegas. I really am. Utah's, they're quick. But Carter Hart stood in there and battled. He really has, So I think Vegas comes out of it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, Mac. Well, we sure appreciate your time on a Kipperless day.
That was fun.
I've got to, and Jill's upset because there's a lady in our building who's leaving tomorrow, so we're gonna have a little beach cocktail. So I have to head over to the beach and just, I don't have to go far. We're on the beach, so I just have I just have to open the gate and go. So it's not bad.
Mac.
So I'm just. And then we're going out to a great restaurant where I took the Kyprioses when they were down here, and where I bought.
I was going to say, did you pay?
Well, Kip was gonna buy, and I fought him a little, and he
rolled over, showed his belly.
He put the wall, but he did, as I have to admit, he brought me a Kyper Bourne baby blue hat.
Oh, well, that's worth $500 at least.
And he gave me an alumni hat that I'm sure he got free. I can't complain.
Mac, I'm not joking. Not joking. My brother-in-law just bought a place in Delray Beach. I'm coming, brother. Yeah.
Did he?
I'm coming.
Awesome. That's great. It's funny. I was on the beach last year, and I look over, and Mike Milbury's sitting on a lawn chair.
Oh, maybe I won't go. I don't know.
So maybe they get together.
All right, Mac. Well, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
See you, bud.
Guys, thanks for having me on. It's a highlight of the week.
Yeah,
it was a real honor for me to get to talk to you, Doug.
It was awesome.
Yeah, real honor.
That's Doug MacLean, former
Take care,
NHL.
boys.
Thanks, buddy. NHL president, GM, and head coach. Good stuff. I'm surprised it's funny that when you offered him to come on or not come on, that he accepted.
He likes doing this.
Ah.
You don't think he likes it? He's probably still listening. Is he still there?
Well, certainly grateful for his time today.
That's so
okay.
funny. I don't know. I feel like the Mammoth should have won that series already. I was just pulling up
too,
some
and
of
the fact that they haven't by now, to me, feels
It's
like
over.
they've blown their opportunity. You're going to get
not the right sheet.
Eichel game, a Marner game, a
Game time?
Game time.
All right. It's game time. Presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. So we were going to do the Conn Smythe odds. We're heading towards the second round. Just as an aside, I hate that they start the second round before the first round's over.
Yeah, not cool.
I hate that.
Saturday night.
It's game one. I'm like, let's slow this down.
Carolina, Philly.
Like, let's just space this out. Like, we don't need to start the second round. Like, let's just
I
breathe.
want it done. You know, I don't love that it goes into late June or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know that this even speeds it up. I guess the idea is just let these guys have rest in the series rather than all the rest before the series.
So I brought up the Conn Smythe odds, and the favorite is
Nathan MacKinnon.
correct 5-1, which is still, if you're listening to this right now,
bad number.
pretty good number. You could do worse than that. The next,
Like conceivably, they get by the Wild, they're going to get
a lot from
Vegas
him.
or something.
and he's going to be a crucial part of that. The number I do love is Cale Makar 12-1. That's a nice number as well. I was just scrolling down to try to find our boy
Lacombe. Well, they don't think Anaheim's going to sniff it.
He's 70-1.
Yeah.
So he's not going to get close, I guess, right? That's the reason that he's so far down the list.
It's team-based at
Yep.
some point. Like, I bet you there's better odds for Brock Nelson than there is Jackson Lacombe.
Frederick Anderson's 10-1. He's the second favorite. Then underneath Cale Makar, it goes Logan Stankoven, Scott Wedgwood, Sebastian Aho, Jack Eichel, Kaprizov, Quinn Hughes, 30-1.
Ooh, and Kaprizov was what?
Kaprizov was 25-1.
So if you're going to bet on the Conn Smythe winner, pick your team first.
Yep.
Just pick who you like. Pick the best guy or two.
I don't hate Quinn Hughes at 30-1.
I also wouldn't do McKinnon, even though 5-1's not terrible. I would do Makar first. Just 12-1. That's
better value.
Yeah.
And just looking at the games for tonight,
3 series.
Tampa in Montreal favored tonight. -1.
Favored.
-120 in the money line. You get the Habs at plus money, plus 100.
Haven't we been banging, hey, bet Montreal? They've been plus money a lot of these games.
Plus money there. You could definitely do a home team. I'm stunned that Tampa's a favorite, which makes me feel like Tampa's going to win. I don't know. That's one that's surprising.
What
to
do
me.
they know?
No, not what they know, but they usually get these things right. The Buffalo Sabres are -120 in Boston tonight. Boston plus 100.
What is happening? The home teams are plus money. Parlay those.
Yeah, and the Vegas Golden Knights -115, Utah -105. So that's pretty close on both sides.
Can you get the
Maybe.
number if you parlay the 2 home teams, Montreal and Boston?
Let me just quickly log in here, and I can do that.
Oh, by the way, Montreal, Boston for a potential round 2. I know Buffalo's up 3-2, the favorite.
I don't want to get too inside baseball, but Sportsnet could use that one.
Sportsnet could use that one.
I don't think Ducks Vegas.
The Oilers no-scope shot to the dome they just took was no good.
If you parlay the 2 home dogs tonight, you get plus 300.
Plus 300 for 2 home teams that are pretty
Both
good.
Yep. So anyways, that was Game Time presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. And a reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne is brought to you by Bet365.
Excellent work as always, Sammy. When we come back, we're going to take your text.
590. Send them in right now, from all over the country.
Spend our Friday afternoon chatting with you guys, getting back to your thoughts when we get back from this break. Welcome back to Real Kyper and Bourne. I am Justin Bourne, and I will now throw it over to Sammy.
Time now for the Acura Performance Matchup, the 2026 Acura MDX Precisely Premium. Now, Bruins, Sabres.
Ooh.
Game 6 tonight.
Yes.
In Boston. Atlantic teams that wear blue historically have great success in this type of games.
What could possibly go wrong?
Although they just absolutely smashed them last time there. So maybe they'll look back on that. So the Bruins, who finished the regular season tied with the Hurricanes for the most home wins, 29, among all teams, on an all-time record of 34, 35, and 1 in potential elimination games at home.
Really?
And they're 4-3, and they have a 4-3 record dating back to the 2018 postseason. So these games haven't particularly gone great for the Boston Bruins. I bet you all 4 of those wins are against the Leafs, but they've struggled with these, and I found that interesting.
You know, I spent some time today. Also, one of my hockey musings was, boy, that JJ Peterka trade sure worked out for the Sabres, didn't it?
It did. It really did.
Like Peterka has zeros in 5 games. He played less than 10 minutes last game, and Doan is a useful guy. Kesselring will be. Things have gone Buffalo's way this year, man.
So listen to this. Lindy Ruff has been a part of 14 of the 21 series clinching wins in franchise history.
Wow.
Including 10 as a head coach. Their most recent was in 2007 conference semifinals against the Rangers, and 4 as a player during the 1980s.
Lindy.
Is that not insane? He's Mr. Sabre.
He is. Oh, he is. And Lindy winning a cup as a Buffalo Sabre in 2026 would be among the all-time greatest hockey stories.
Agreed.
He's on 0, right? No cups?
Yes. No cups because he lost
cup final
with the Sabre with the foot in the crease.
Yeah.
So
like it would be unbelievable.
I'm blown away by that stat. And I don't know. I saw that video of when the mic cut out and all their fans are singing "Oh Canada." And
shout out Buffalo.
Here's what I'll say. If you're listening from Buffalo, this diehard Leaf fan, you would never in a million years cheer for us. And that's fine. You would never, they would never subject themselves to that.
No.
But I will tell you, I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
I'm fully rooting for them. I hope that they have a long run. If they're playing the Habs in the next round, I will be painting my face blue and yellow or black and red and white, whatever colors you wear. I think they're an awesome team to watch. They're an awesome story.
You know why I found that a profoundly uniting moment is because everything we went through with Trump talking about annexing Canada and making it at the 51st state and how mad Canadians were, how proud Canadians were. We booed their anthem at games. And I
was at multiple events. I went to a TFC game, loud boos. Jay's game, there was loud boos.
And so
crazy time.
They continue to sing the Canadian anthem at those games between 2 American teams. And their fans cheer, sung "Oh Canada" as the mic cut out. And it almost felt like, the olive branch. And it was like, okay, we're still mad about
also a ton
that
of
guy
Canadians that
and
go to
those things.
There's a ton of Canadians go to those games.
Yeah, but I don't know. That just felt, if you're doing a draft, you and me right now, it's a draft American cities that are Canadian. That would fit well with the ideals of being Canadian.
I think Buffalo high, Minnesota high in that list. Those are probably the first 2 picks off the board.
First thing that came to mind, too, was maybe Minneapolis, St. Paul,
I said
and
Minnesota.
Buffalo.
That's not a city. Nailed it.
Whatever.
I'm an idiot. Anyways, that was the Acura Performance Matchup, the 2026 Acura MDX Precisely Premium.
All right.
So we're starting to get some texts. So that's good.
Starting to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're pouring in. But I just wanted to give you this one.
All right.
Because there's a few that have sort of the same tone.
Yep.
And I'm sorry to do this, but the Edmonton Oilers had just got eliminated last night.
Yeah.
What will the McDavid contract with the Leafs be in 2028?
Come on.
I don't think it's as I don't think he's going to be necessarily playing here, but I do think there's a potential of him and Matthews teaming up somewhere.
So you think Matthews and McDavid as kings or something?
I don't know if it's here. I don't think it's a 0% chance that it's here.
If you were to list the biggest betrayals to Edmonton, where he could play next, Calgary's number 1.
Oh my God, not even close.
Toronto's number 2.
You think?
Maybe
Vancouver, but I don't think he's going to. I think they're safe on that one.
Yeah, the Kings are high. They play him in the playoffs all the time, but
Vegas. But like, they don't have to deal with the fandom.
No.
Because if Connor McDavid somehow ever signed in Toronto and potentially won,
you would be
the Oilers fans would never leave the city. They would never risk running into a Leaf fan because it would be horrible. But
yeah.
I think...
I wrote about this today, by the way.
You did?
I wrote 5 thoughts on the Oilers at the end of it, and I wrote about McDavid and what comes next.
Bunkus's idea is the Lightning.
The Lightning? To me, he is like the number one guy. We talked about Matthews and Brady Tkachuk and Connor Hellebuck, who he is going to play his contract, and if he decides it's time to go, like he plays next year and the Oilers are no good, he'll tell you.
Yeah.
He'll say, yeah, I just don't, I got to go somewhere we can win. I don't see our chances being better next year. Like, let's say they just stink outright, he might say it. But if they're good and they have a chance, if they're among the 8 teams that have a chance to win a Stanley Cup next year, he's playing out his contract.
Yep.
So for me, it's like all the pressure in the world is on Jackson and Bowman.
I don't know if they're I don't know about Jeff Jagsey's the president or whatever. I know he works closely with, but Bowman's track record in terms of what happened to that core in Chicago, Blackhawks fans, like he was not popular. I mean, we don't even need to talk about the other stuff, but he was not popular before any of that.
Right.
They thought he really screwed up the end of that. And it's kind of feeling like he did the same thing there. Like he can't be a popular figure in Edmonton today.
In Toronto, Brad Treliving getting a hard time. Some of the deals, people going, he did this, and this, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
The Bowman list in Edmonton is
bad.
Pretty long.
Hi, guys. Love the show. You're doing a great job, Sammy.
And he, you know what? Not wrong.
That's how you get read. Question for you both. If this is it for Gino, if he retires at the end of the year, where do you put him in the top of all Russian players?
Oh, wow.
Is he top 3?
I mean, I need to
Google it.
top Russian hockey players.
Top scoring Russian players of all time.
Here, do you remember when they did the top 100 NHL players of all time?
And he wasn't in it.
And he was like 101st. There was like some like honorable mentions or something.
Newsy alone who scored 40 back for the New York Knickerbockers.
So this is just
he's the second highest scoring Russian of all time. Ovi is number 1, obviously.
I need an all-time.
I got it here. So the top 5 scores.
Yeah.
The top 5 scores, obviously Ovi with 1,687 points. The next closest is Evgeny Malkin with 1,407. Just crazy. I mean, I didn't know he was that high.
The gap between him and the next one.
And then it's Fedorov at 1,179.
Over 200 fewer points. 230 fewer points.
And then it's Nikita Kucherov above Alexander McGillney. Like this list, I mean, obviously some pretty great players here.
The tough one is Datsuk is down at 8, and he only played 953 games. That's a games played thing.
If I was going to, of my lifetime,
yeah,
I think it's you have to give it to Ovi number 1.
Yeah, obviously.
You have to go Malkin, and you have to go Fedorov. It's the top 3. It's the top 3 scorers. Those are the 3 best in my life.
Yeah, who are you going to bump for Kuch out of that group?
Datsuk's 4, and then Kucherov's probably 5, and it's just because of the respect factor.
Fedorov is more revered. Selke Trophy, commercials, Anna Kournikova.
Just the coolest hockey player of all time.
Coolest dude
Nike
ever.
Skates, just number 1.
So, maybe you'd want to put Kucherov ahead of him for reason, because Kucherov played about 400 less games than Fedorov and is 50 points behind him. So he's going to be points per game, going to crush him. But yeah, Fedorov's. I'm with you. I'll put him 3 behind Fedorov. Fedorov's too cool.
So you're going Fedorov
2. Yeah,
I'm going Malkin 2.
Yeah, Fedorov's that dude.
I know he was, but Malkin...
It's a youthful part of me, too.
He has this is a question. Does Fedorov have a Conn Smythe? I don't think he does, and Malkin does have that Conn Smythe. I don't know. I just think Evgeny Malkin, without Sid, I think he would be taught... I don't think he's talked about enough as one of the all-time great players.
I will have a conversation.
He's underrated.
One of my, everyone's got it's the meme with all the swords, one opinion, whatever.
Yeah.
Peak Malkin, better than peak Ovechkin.
Agreed.
Really?
Totally. I think that he was the closest to Mario Lemieux that there's ever been.
When he's on,
he's just
big,
undeniable.
Long, mean,
yeah.
fat. I know Ovi is a wrecking ball or whatever, but Malkin was unstoppable at his best.
We might get some hate for that one. I don't really care.
I used to.
Hello, Jason from New Brunswick here. Hi, Jason. Love the show. Love Tuesdays with Valaket. So do we. What about Chris Draper as the Leafs' new GM? He's been learning under Yzerman for many years now. He could be the next Pat Verbeek. Someone is going to scoop him up soon.
This felt like the type of guy whose name would come up.
How has it not come up right now? Until right now?
I don't know.
He'd be perfect.
He'd be perfect.
From the area, unbelievable
gets
player. Totally gets it.
Been with the front office for a long time.
One of the best scouting organizations in the history of the league. Hard worker. Played for Team Canada. How is he not the next candidate?
Didn't even come up.
Didn't come up until right now. Jason from New Brunswick. Neil should have called you, brother. Who had it locked down?
You know what, though? Hey, what did you think of Mac being like, can't believe they didn't reach out to Cheveldayoff? I actually think Cheveldayoff gets a hard time because people don't know all the guys he can't get because of no trade clauses. I think he's done a great job working his way around that.
That's interesting. I think it is interesting that he brought it up.
Yeah, I don't think it means nothing.
I never know with him. But, the fact that he didn't yell at me about Cooper, I was interested too.
You led the witness.
Oh, yeah. Do you guys think the Oilers getting to a cup final again is a 50-50 proposition, considering the age and contracts of Connor and Draisaitl?
Not a chance.
You don't think they get back?
John Cooper just said it's an 8% chance for the best team at the start of the year. By the way, I think it's 11.
Do you think they will get to the final again? Because I don't.
No.
What?
Think Anaheim's getting worse?
Do you think? I guess I don't know.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I don't. And I think San Jose is going to be on the rise.
Oh yeah.
They don't. Their guys are old.
Simmons is old.
He
hates his wife.
I hate to say it, but are we having window talk here? Are we doing a little bit of sports talk radio stuff? We're doing a window talk.
Well, the couple things is okay, Zach Hyman had some injuries this year. And
he was banged up. He wasn't the same.
Hey, he's going to have a lot because he plays hard and he's getting older.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, not close to the same guy.
Yeah.
Ekholm was getting turned around. Every nurse is making too much. He's getting old. It just feels that.
They're just 31?
The last 2 years of the years, man. And they could get back. They have McDavid. They have to have a shrewd offseason. But I saw, what did I send you? That they're paying Jari and the combined cap hit of the Jack Campbell buyout is $8 million.
That's to start. And if you're Connor McDavid and you left millions on the table for them to work with, and they're spending it on a goalie they can't use for your waiver claim.
Yeah, and a guy who's doing Instagram story dumps right now. He's not even.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just saw him on Instagram. He's coffee. He's just he's not involved with the hockey.
God, we should have him on the show.
I don't know. I remember one of the worst takes I ever had is that he's new Cujo and they should give him $6 million a year for 7 years.
I remember us doing 6x6 for him.
I was saying he's new Cujo. That was a take I wish I could have back.
No one remembered until you just brought it up.
Whatever. That's called accountability, buddy.
The UFAs for Edmonton Oilers next year: Adam Henrique, Jason Dickinson, Jack Roslovic, Kasperi Kapanen, Max Jones, Curtis Lazar, Connor Murphy. 8
Those
UFAs.
Are all UFAs.
All UFAs and then RFAs, Colton Dock and Spencer Stastny.
Wow.
So they have the chance to change the body of their team, but that Dickinson was really good for them.
Now we're just getting McDavid. Now we're just getting McDavid destinations. This is from a 514 area code, aka Quebec. What about
Montreal?
God,
he's from Toronto.
If he went to Montreal, dead to me. There's few things that would make me more. I would take back all the nice things I've said about him, which are a ton. I've called him a grump a lot, but I would be very disgusted.
I think you would, if you could comfortably say that to his face. He'd be like, "Yeah, I'm frustrated. I'm trying to win."
Yeah, there's a few people saying now that on this text line being like Montreal. Someone texted in and said, "What about the Ducks?"
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I think that's easier to stomach than LA.
Yeah.
They haven't had that sort of scar tissue with them. We do have a bunch of Edmonton stuff to get to, but I'm kind of, if you got more text, I'm more into the text, but whatever.
We're talking about Edmonton.
Okay.
I was listening to all after the game audio.
Yeah.
And this Draisaitl clip that he said, I really love Draisaitl, and I just think he's just such a gamer and he gets it, and he's a real
cool dude.
He's a cool dude. And he got asked after the game. Actually, let's just play the clip.
Okay.
The Draisaitl one.
81 playoff games the last 5 years. Is that the grind kind of maybe caught up?
I don't know. You strap your skates on for every playoff game and you try and go out and play your best and try to win it. Obviously fell short. And yeah, I think they're just, but as much as it hurts, I think they're just a better team.
They're just a better team.
I love that, where he's just like, yeah, we put on our skates, we got to go out there and win. And he literally stopped himself from saying they're the better. He's like, they're the, as much as it pains me to say it, they're the better team.
Yeah.
He's a competitive guy, but they were.
They were. I heard someone else in the organization say either not, if not exactly that, something very similar to that. And I thought that was so much better ownership, even if it's not true. In Toronto, we had people got frustrated over like, oh, they showed us a lot of respect on the handshake line. People got frustrated at Rod Brindamore when he said, yeah, we got swept, but it was closer than that. People got frustrated. Ottawa said the same thing. Sometimes the best thing to do is go, good team.
They're good.
Beat us.
They're good. They're better.
Draisaitl, tough playoffs, 6 games, 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points.
He had 10 points.
Yeah, it's all just 10.
He's the only guy. Like, it's just him and McDavid. They just carry him through.
Do
it's
I
crazy.
have that right? Did he?
No, maybe that's right. That can't be right.
Did he have 10 points again?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he did. He had 10 points. Leading playoffs in points.
Sick.
God.
He's such a beast. He's such a beast. All right. Let's look ahead to tonight.
All right.
3 big ones, obviously. Tampa, Montreal. Coverage gets started on Sportsnet, CBC 6:30. What do you feel about this?
Tampa, Montreal. Interesting. Mac had it as Montreal. You're in Montreal tonight. A lot of these series feel like if you don't win while you're at home, it could be trouble. There's 2 of them, right? Is it? It's actually in Utah and Boston.
It's in Utah and it's in Boston. But tonight, I don't know. I would like to say that Montreal needs to get it tonight, but they've already won twice there.
True.
I don't think Tampa is the most intimidating building to go into. Like, for God's sakes, at least went in there and won multiple big games.
So Montreal has 2 cracks at this.
I think Montreal gets it done tonight.
I think it's crazy that like there's no cracks in the Dobish armor. Like Dobish Fowler, are they going to be?
I don't think so. But it's good for the Marlies that they're still playing because it means Fowler's not playing for Laval.
Right.
And maybe the Marlies actually have a chance. But yeah, they don't want to have him go back down there.
But they got 2 solid goalies. This is the whole experience at Tampa Bay. Can they find a way? Braden Point has no points at 5-on-5. Nikita Kucherov has 2 points at 5-on-5 in the series.
He looks pissed the entire game.
Yeah. I need him to stop worrying about all that.
Mike Kelly came on in our first hour, and he was like, would you be surprised if Vasilevsky shut it down? And I almost stopped him and been like, yeah, I would be kind of surprised.
But these games he's been...
Well, not recently.
No.
He's been bad for quite a while. I don't know. We'll see.
Corey Perry, here, I'll give you some stats. So potential series clinching games, the guy in Montreal has played the most. Brandon Gallagher's played 9. He's 7-2 over that time. Jacob Dobish at home, his record, 14-3 with a .913 save percentage.
Pretty good.
And then the other thing, Corey Perry, 36 elimination games. He's 19-17.
That's not great.
No, that's a coin toss.
That's a lot of games.
That's so many. Most career wins facing elimination in NA or among active players. Ryan McDonough has 20 wins when facing elimination. Corey Perry is 19.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then what do you have about the other 2? Boston or Buffalo?
Buffalo. If I'm being honest, I don't think Buffalo's going to win tonight.
Okay.
Like I am trying to find. I want Buffalo to win.
That's going to be a sneaky,
you
know what, if they go back to Buffalo for a Game 7.
Yeah, because it feels like it's in their hands.
Yes.
The fan base is ready to explode. Feels like after this series, anything could happen.
I hope they win tonight.
Yeah.
Just get it over with.
Yeah.
Don't screw around with the Game 7. I think Vegas wins by 4 or 5 tonight.
I think Utah had it in their clutches. And I do think that if someone like Peterka was going a bit more, Michael Amato wrote a good article today for Sportsnet.ca that includes that as a detail. They're just not using him. He can't get involved. They got Yamamoto playing ahead of him.
Oof. How many primary points for Mitch Marner in this series so far?
He is currently at, is it 6, 7? No, it's 0.
Oh, okay. Couple short-handed points, so unfortunately, and one that kind of led. Hey, who scored that game?
I'm not sure he touched it. But.
That was an insane assist. But I'm not counting.
Hardly check the stats every night to see how he's doing.
Yeah. Anyway. That's fun, bud. Have a good weekend.
Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back next week. Kip will be back on Monday. And, enjoy the weekend. We'll see you guys then.